This episode of Grilled by the Staff Canteen is sponsored by Westlands, the premier specialist British grower of microleaf, growing cresses, edible flowers, inspired leaves, sea herbs and specialty tomatoes. Visit www.westlandsuk.co.uk to find out more. Welcome to Grilled, a podcast by the Staff Canteen. I'm Cara, editor of the Staff Canteen, and if you enjoy this podcast, please do share it with friends and colleagues. In this episode, I'm chatting to a chef who trained at Jamie Oliver's 15 and who was appointed head chef of the hut at Colwell Bay on the Isle of Wight as the pandemic kicked in, which is unfortunate. The chef has racked up more than 10 years in top kitchens, having gone on to work at Gordon Ramsay's The Narrow, as well as Mac and Wild and Bonnie Gull in London. In 2018, he made it through to the quarterfinals of BBC's MasterChef The Professionals. Gavin Gordon, welcome to Grilled.
Oh, that sounds great. I've never had an intro like that before.
Well, I do my best. I always hope that it's correct, and then I'm not going to get to the end of it and someone's going to say, well, actually, Cara, that's completely wrong. So we've spoke briefly before we started, but how are you? And are you keeping yourself busy at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few things sort of bubbling away. So yeah, a lot of research at the minute. Just like I said, planning my return to when we get back sort of like to a normal country. And yeah, just trying to think of different things to do and sort of different surprises and sort of how I can stand out from everyone else. So
making the most of the time off then, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Putting it to good use.
Exactly that.
Okay, so I've got a few questions that I always ask at the beginning of these, which are kind of to get to know you a little bit as a person, as opposed to just a chef. So answer honestly. Hopefully I won't catch you out too much. Don't
yeah.
So, nice and easy. Other than cooking, what is your main passion and why?
To be honest, it would actually, it sounds really silly, but my family really. Mm-hmm. Just spending time with them, because obviously I'm sure as any dads with in working in the kitchen will know, is like you don't really get to spend time with your kids. So any spare time I do get is generally with them, just sort of maximising the time with them, really. Whether that be going playing football or just even playing computer with them or whatever it may be, just spending time with them. Yeah,
another positive for you then, obviously, to take away from this whole year, I suppose, that you've had more time to spend with them.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, I had to leave them to go to the Isle of Wight. So okay. I spent lockdown in the Isle of Wight while they was here in London. So no, this time yes, but last time no.
Right, okay. That must have been hard.
Yeah, that was. I'm not going to lie. That was. I mean, for the first month, it was fine. And then I'm sure, as everyone knows, like after the second month, I think. Well, I definitely started to go slightly crazy.
Yeah, no, I think everyone can definitely relate to that. So next question. MasterChef The Professionals is currently, it's on BBC One. But if you could set one of the judges a skills test yourself, what would it be? And which judge would you choose to set that test for?
Oh, what a question. You can try to get me in trouble now.
Never.
I would set Marcus Waring the task of deboning an oxtail.
Okay, and why? Why that particular skill?
Because it's a bloody hard job, and when I done my skills test, I sort of failed quite miserably, and it was really embarrassing. And I'd like to try and embarrass him back. Not embarrassing, but just put him under pressure, because it's quite a hard job.
How do you think he'd do?
He'd probably smash it, to be honest, realistically. But yeah, I'll try my hardest to try and sort of trip him up.
I'm sure that would be enjoyable for everybody involved, actually, turning it around the other way. And final random question. If you could talk or communicate with animals, what would you say? And which animal would you choose to chat with?
Wow. I'm trying to think of, I don't know. That's actually quite a good question. I would choose, birds in general.
Birds?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll get them to give me information.
What sort of information?
What can they see? I don't know. It'd be like a homing pigeon. They could go and find the information out.
You're going to send them into Marcus Waring's kitchen?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you for being a good sport on those. So let's start with your career. So you trained at Jamie's 15, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So how was that?
That was amazing, to be honest. That was definitely one of the better parts of my career. So young and I was very determined at that point, but really young and really fresh. And it was the right environment to put someone like that in. They made it they spoon-fed cooking, whereas me seeing other people come through the ranks, it's like they didn't get the same kind of sort of upbringing that I did there, through going to places like Elwey Valley and spending time with them and learning about the animals that and how they rear the animals and do you know what I mean? Like going to spend 2 weeks at a butcher's and learning how to butcher properly, then going to a fishmonger's for 2 weeks. Just go and see, like, I don't know, Jimmy's Farm or Jecker's Herbs and all these great suppliers. I got that in my first 18 months, which some people don't even get that over their whole career, you know? It was really, really special place.
So you're glad that's the route that you chose then?
100, I would not change that at all. At all.
Yeah, so obviously closed. Is that quite sad for you as kind of one of the kind of alumni that were part of that?
Very, very sad. Very sad. That was it was a great project, and it's a massive shame for this country that had to that small institute had to shut, because it was a choice. It was the opportunity for 15 chefs every year to come into this industry, but coming in the right way. Not all of them turn out 100% great. It doesn't always work like that. That's life. But it's at least giving 15 people a year a opportunity to change their life and sort of work around some of the best produce and some of the best people as well. I mean, my executive, Andrew Parkinson and Gregory Martian, head chef there as well, some amazing chefs with amazing prospects and are continuing to do stuff now.
Yeah. And so do you think it's left a bit of a hole then in the industry?
I would say so, especially, and I don't want it to make it sound like this, but especially coming from sort of my background. Because of the setup of Jamie Oliver, it's obviously for either disadvantaged kids or people from sort of different backgrounds than what's the more less traditional route. So it's an easier way in for someone from my kind of background, basically.
So what is your background then, Gavin? How did you end up going in that direction?
I'll be honest, for me, I wasn't in prison or anything like that. My story is I was working. I just really wanted to be a chef. So the year prior to that, the mother of my children, she was on the course, and I was at home sort of doing a 9 to 5 and then looking after the kids, and she was going to work. And I was, for the first time in my life, I was having to cook, and I just really enjoyed it. I sort of stayed up late watching cookery programs, little silly ones at 1 o'clock in the morning, and just trying to, I don't know, just sort of, I got a chance to sort of to be myself. So whether it was I don't know, it sounds silly, but even adding garlic and rosemary to potatoes, that it would blow my mind. Oh my God, this is really good. And just moving on and moving forward and trying to make a fool or making a cheesecake and then growing myself like that. Watching Floyd and people like that was amazing. He actually taught me quite a lot.
Yeah.
And then the next year come around and I applied and got in, but we sort of, between me and my partner at the time, we had to keep it quiet because they wouldn't have, I don't reckon I would have gotten it if they knew I was sort of with her.
Okay.
So we kept it quite quiet until I was in, and then I sort of let everyone know slowly.
So you got in on the sly.
Yeah, I did. I actually did as well.
So cooking wasn't something that you grew up with as a kid. You weren't oh, I want to be a chef, or you weren't a foodie or anything like that
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I've always loved food. And my nan and my mum, my mum was a chef in a Caribbean restaurant, which her being white in English is quite unnatural. So, I've always loved her food, but I've never seen that as a path for me. When I was doing that, I was a mechanic, and I was trying to get into to be a fireman at that time.
Okay.
That was something I wanted to do, but then I got rejected from being a fireman because I didn't have a driving license.
Okay.
Yeah, strange, but yeah, I didn't. And then I was a little bit lost at that time, like what to do professionally. And then it came about, and I applied and got in.
Yeah, well, obviously everything happens for a reason, because you wouldn't be sat talking to me now, would you? So,
Exactly.
and I know it wasn't. I know 15 wasn't Jamie's, but did he ever make an appearance? Was he involved in it at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not like he wasn't always there in the kitchen, but he was always around like the program itself.
Yeah.
Because obviously he was doing other stuff and promotional stuff in Germany and Japan and just everywhere. I mean, at that time he was pretty hot. But yeah, he was always about. He knew the team, the current team who were there working. Anytime he was about, he would pop in and he would try to like give demonstrations and be around as much as he could. But yeah, he was around.
So, someone that's kind of that has worked around him and seen him, was it quite hard to see what happened to him when everything kind of fell apart? Because people made a lot of judgments and people were very quick to say quite cruel things about him, weren't they?
I mean, basically, what I've learned in life is when things like that happen, you do get to see people's true colours and their intentions around you. For me, I don't know this for a fact, and I'm not quoting him, but I'm sure it's a chance to sort of see who really was for him and who wasn't. It was horrible for me to see that. But at the end of the day, it's business, and nobody died. And do you know what I mean? Nobody died, and I'm sure he'll build himself back to whatever he wants to be. He's got that charm and that sort of that. He's got a good team around him, a good core team around him to be able to build a great sort of structure again. He hasn't fully lost his structure. He's still got certain things going on. His books are still going. His books are still selling. He still has revenue. It's not like he's bankrupt and lost every penny he's got. He just needs to find another way. And I'm be honest, if anyone can, I'm sure he can.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's always interesting to see how quick sometimes people are to stick the knife in, isn't it? So,
yeah, it's quite sad, to be honest. That is with humans. Humans do that a lot.
Yeah, I don't think social media helps that either, though, does it? It's an
No.
easy way to do it. So
yeah.
So you went on from there to work in London. Are you from London originally, anyway?
Well, I was born in Leeds, but I grew up in London.
Oh, you're a northerner like me.
Yeah. Nobody knows that. It's very. I keep that quite quiet, but yeah, I'm an adopted Cockney.
So you went to work in London. How old were you when you went to kind of work in kitchens in London? And how was that? Was it like a shock to the system compared to what you already had known, or did you quite enjoy it?
Well, I mean, the way, going back to 15, the way it's designed is to slowly integrate you into the system or into kitchen. So you obviously you do 5 days a week in the restaurant and 1 day a week. Sorry, 4 days a week in the restaurant and 1 day a week at college. And that's like you are baby fed there a little bit. There is other people making sure things are all right, but then they send you out to other restaurants for like 2 months stage. And that's to work in a normal restaurant with normal responsibilities. Nobody sort of baby feeding you, or it's sort of sink or swim time. So by the time I left 15, I got to go to Italy to a restaurant called Novecento, which was like Novel cuisine, 1 star. And yeah, I mean that was a complete shock to the system because it was nothing like what we was doing. It was a lot of time. Let's say it was we was with the amount of time we'd spend on one dish, we'd do like 60 covers in 15. You know,
Yeah.
It's a complete change. It was more about getting all of the ingredients and bringing it to the chef and making sure the timings are right for the chef. Whereas 15 was more about a whole team coming together to get the dish out. Or to get the whole table out. This was like making sure every like little leaf or this is here at that specific time and knowing the chef. So it was quite a culture shock. But then when I come back to London, I joined One Aldwych Hotel, which is Tony Fleming at the time. And that's a whole nother story, to be honest, for me, for my career.
Why?
Just because, I mean, as much as I learned at Jamie Oliver's, I learned more under Tony Fleming. I learned more how to be a chef and what it really took, and not taken away from Jamie at all. Like, Jamie's foundation was great, but Tony Fleming's foundation, not even foundation, but sort of he see the baby plant, and he grew it and pruned it like the way it should. Well, he got the best out of me under anyone I ever worked under. Okay. Just through my I don't know, like the respect I have for him as a chef is unbelievable. Just to watch him work is amazing, to be honest. Okay. He's like the perfect chef in many different ways.
But it's clearly your different experiences, you've taken so much from each one to get to the point that you're at now. Then
yeah. Everything, even places that haven't gone well for me, I've taken stuff away from it, and it shapes me and continues to shape me in how I am.
What places didn't go well for you?
Oh, why did I say that?
It's called grilled for a reason.
Yeah. Oh no, you've got me now. I don't really know. Well, so there was a place called 155 when I left Bonnie Gull as head chef there, and I joined a company called Bar 155 in Farringdon. That company went bust, and that was like the first time that I got to taste like not failure, but you know, just things go wrong in a restaurant, because everywhere else I've been, everything was fine. We was doing great, and there was no issues, and it was great. And then it's just like you see a different side to the business when things go wrong, and like suppliers not refusing to bring food, and you know, you go through that whole struggle, and it's a really horrible sort of feeling, to be honest.
But I suppose you have to go through those experiences, don't you? Everything's not always going to be all perfect. I'm sure you've learned things from that, and it wasn't in your control by the sounds of it either.
Yeah. Well, no, that wasn't. It was all the background business. I don't even know the ins and outs, but it was all the background stuff going on. But it was an eye opener I've never really delved into it. When joining a place, I've never really thought about delving into the business or what they're about and what they're doing. That sort of that gave me a bit of an eye opener to do that when I join forces with a company.
So from I said earlier that you're now at the Hut on the Isle of Wight, which we have briefly kind of mentioned. So you took over there in March, I believe, this year.
Officially in March, yeah.
Okay.
But we was courting from like November onwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
But obviously when that was officially kind of announced, that was just as the pandemic was kind of kicking in the UK, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that aside, what drew you to that role? And then we'll talk more about obviously the whole coronavirus side of it.
I mean, they contacted me, or an agency did anyway, contacted me just asking if I was ready to sort of would I consider this role? And I was very, I don't know, I was very sort of whatever, but let me see what it's about. And then they gave me the opportunity to go down there and see it and just meet the owners and stuff like that. And the more I spent time there, the more I knew I wanted to do it. For the first, just for where it is and its location and stuff. If anyone's ever been there, they'll know it's like it's beautiful. It's a beautiful setting. It's a beautiful. Just looking out of the restaurant straight into the sea is amazing. And then sort of what they're about and their ethos and how they carry themselves and they are running a successful business and still did during this pandemic moment, which is crazy compared to like most people right now. A lot of people are struggling, and they built a business plan after and stuck to it, and we achieved and exceeded what we were supposed to do, which was brilliant.
And having experienced a lockdown on the Isle of Wight, which you said you did the first time, and now you're in London for the second lockdown. How did the two experiences kind of differ? What was the Isle of Wight, God, I can't say it, Isle of Wight like during that first lockdown?
The first one was, I mean, it was tough because I didn't know the place. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I could do. So all we could do was like walk down to the beach and sort of just like, I don't know, take a football down the beach and play football and then go back for a like little bit of exercise. And I mean, I kept myself busy with like, we was cooking for like the elderly and things like that. Okay. Trying to help whatever we could. And then the laws sort of, we then started like a hamper service, which we was feeding yachts from the restaurant, so like a takeaway service, but for all the yachts. So I mean that was good to keep me busy, but it was really tough, to be honest, the first time. Yeah, really tough.
Yeah. And how was that doing kind of like a hampered takeaway service? Because it's probably not what you're used to doing. So
no, you know what, it was fun because it got me out the house, and that's the truth. Do you know what I mean? I spent what, 2 months just sitting there doing nothing, whether it be like drinking or just sitting there listening to music or trying to learn Spanish, which I never actually did do.
Did you learn anything?
No, not really. Not really. I said a lot. I talked about doing a lot, but I didn't actually do anything. So I mean, it was great doing it. It got me back in the kitchen and back cooking again, and we wasn't like doing crazy numbers or making loads of money, but it mentally helped me out a lot. I've been in the kitchen and never not been in the kitchen since I ever started. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it is literally a drug for me, and it was hard sort of taking that away.
Yeah, no, I can definitely imagine. So, tell me about your food then, Gavin. We haven't talked about the food. So tell me about your food and what people can expect when they come to the hut.
Oh, the hut itself, or me as a chef?
Both. Because start with you, and then let's talk about the hut.
It's sort of, each place where I've worked, it's been very different. It's very varied. I tend to sort of cater for the site, and not like just do what I want to do. I mean, because the hut's an established business already. Before I got there, I didn't establish anything there. It was already a successful business. So it was more about adding on to what they already have, or should I say enhancing what they already had. So I mean, for anyone going to the hut, it's very simple seafood, greatly sourced. All of their suppliers are top drawer suppliers, whether it be Flying Fish or Celtic, or like all of the best suppliers in London. HG Waters for their meat. So yeah, it was. You can expect very simple food, but very tasty. And they cater for all types of people. I mean, if you want to go there and spend £1,000, you can. If you want to spend £50, you can on a table of two. So it's whatever you want it to be. But I mean, me as a chef personally, like I'm honed classically, but I do like to sort of enhance classical things with modern techniques. I think that's the best way to describe me, to be honest.
Okay. And do you have any particular, I don't know, flavors or styles or ingredients that you're particularly passionate about?
You know what? No, I have moments with food. So I'll have a moment where I like focus on like Japanese, everything I do will be like very Japanese-esque, and then there'll come a point when I'll go back to like 15, or I'll go back to doing pasta, and I just have moments. Do you know what I mean? It's more of a feeling more than anything. For me.
And do you have any like where you've had restaurant experiences yourself, and you've had certain dishes where you've gone, that's amazing, and then that's kind of influenced you as a chef, or can you just appreciate what other people
do? You mean other people's food?
Yeah.
100%. I mean, anything I've ever done there's always a backstory to it, from where it's come from. Whether one dish could be like 3 different places, but It's like everywhere I've gone, I see something, I see how they do it, I try to improve it if it can be improved, and this might just be a puree, and then that puree, I'll go to another place, and then I'll do, like, let's say venison this way and how they do it there, and then try to improve that, and then bring all these techniques together and then that becomes me, basically.
Okay.
That's definitely how I work, though.
Okay. And so what's the best meal you've ever had?
One definitely was Restaurant Story when I
Okay.
ate there. That was pretty epic. But there was also Launceston Place
Yeah.
as well, which blew me away when I ate there.
Very good places, so I am not
Yeah,
surprised. Um, Also, I didn't say this at the beginning, but big congratulations on the landing the GQ award for best overall experience at the Hut
thank you
for
very much.
2020. So, how did that feel to get a GQ award amongst all of the madness this year?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, it was like that come like right at the end of the season when we got that, and it was a really tough season, you know. And to be awarded, and it's not just for me. Like I said, it's the whole experience. It was a very good team award to get, and it made all of the tears and the blood, sweat, and tears sort of worthwhile. And it always does when you get commended on things like that. It's nice, you know. It makes all of it worthwhile.
Yeah, no, it's a nice award, isn't it, to
Yeah,
add to a collection, I think. Yeah, it's a good
yeah.
one. And I'm assuming you might get to go to that lovely awards event next year, as they couldn't do it this year, but I don't know how it works because it's quite a nice one, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I reckon that might just be the owners on that one. It depends what time of the year it will be, but yeah, hopefully that'd be great.
So I've already mentioned MasterChef, which obviously you took part in a couple of years ago. So what was the best and the worst part of being on that show?
Well, let me go with the worst part first. It'll make more sense then. Um, so leading up to MasterChef, it was like I was very confident in what I was doing, what I was trying to achieve. It was almost straightforward for me. And then literally, I pushed the doors to do my skills test, and everything just turned on its head completely, and fear come in, and it's like as you walk in, it's a really long walk. It doesn't look like it. It's not filmed like it, but it really is. Or maybe it's not, and it's just in your head that it's a long walk. So there's like all these cameras, all these lighting on you, and then there's a small little table where Monica's there. You know, everybody's there at the table, just literally watching you walk up, and it's so daunting. And I've never really felt, and it sort of shook me a little bit. So yeah, I mean, and then I got given a task that was like I didn't actually know what it was.
What was your task?
It was Polonaise.
Okay.
I've never done it. I've never known what it was. It just caught me out.
Okay. Okay.
But I've never done it before. I've never known about it, and yeah, I got given that task, and it wasn't great.
What did you do then? Because if you didn't know what it was, your mind must have just been racing.
Yeah, I mean, I even said it. I was like, look, I don't even know what it is. And they was like, well, these are the ingredients, go. And you're giving them what they want, really. Let's be honest. And I did, and it didn't go very well. But the thing is, with that is like, it nearly sent me down, like mentally. I'll be honest with you, but no, really, like, because you're like, I've been doing this for years, and I'm very confident in what I do. I know what I know. I've never really struggled. Well, I do struggle with, obviously, when you go to a new place, you have to learn all the things and all what you need to do. But I'm quite confident. And then to be just taken down to ground zero, and then you think, oh my God, all the people I've ever worked around are watching me. There's people in the industry watching me, and I look like an idiot. It's quite hard. Like it sort of, it makes you, I don't know, it makes you like, you question your ability a little bit.
Yeah.
And then sort of, I had like a mini breakdown in between.
Did you want to just turn around and say, I've changed my mind?
No, that's not me. No, I didn't. I just wanted, it was more about, because the next round was signature, and that is my dish, everything that I do. I know I've been practicing that dish. I know exactly what I need to achieve. It's fine. So I just, all I needed to do was make sure I did not make any mistakes on my signature, and I didn't, and I blew them away, and then I sort of climbed back the ladder again, and put myself straight back in the forefront of the runnings, which was, I needed that basically. Just anything after that sort of didn't really matter. I just needed to get do you know what I mean? I just needed to get myself back to what I know and who I am basically. It was quite hard.
So was that your highlight of it then, doing your
Definitely
signature?
overcoming failure basically, and proving and showing that, look, I can do this, and I have been a chef for a while, and I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah, because I mean, you must have watched it before, and we've all watched it and seen chefs just completely freeze on the skills test. And I bet you've watched it before and gone, how do you not know how to do that?
100. I fully understand it now. Like when I watched it before, I'll be honest, I'd laugh at other chefs, and I'm like, how have you split a hollandaise, or how have you done this? But I fully understand it now, and I have massive respect that any chef that has the balls to go up there and do that, and to put their name in front of people's TVs. It takes a lot of guts to do that.
Yeah. Well, that said, what advice would you have for future contestants? What would your kind of like top tips be? I mean, they've recorded this one already, so you can't help the current contestants, but anyone thinking about going into it next year?
100%. This will be a nugget, an absolute gem for anybody. Is practice your dish by timings, and then slash about 15 minutes off the timing that they give you, because I never, like when I done my dishes, I never factored in like talking on camera or just extra little things. I just done it to the time. I have an hour and a half to do da 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 da. Oh, I have an hour to do da 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 da. I didn't factor that in. And when like my signature round, I literally just made it. Like by the literally, as I said, right, we're finished now. I literally just finished plating. And I also cut my finger on that, and I didn't factor in silly little things like that.
Okay.
So once you can do that, and also and to be try to keep it as simple as possible, but still impress. Try not to go too far.
Yeah.
Which I found out in later rounds. My lesson on that one.
Oh, good. You went too far.
Yeah, I gave myself too much work to do.
Was you showing off?
Yeah, well, I was in it to win it, and that was the whole point. No, it was. There's no point in me. But I was never there to make up numbers. It wasn't just to get on the show. It was to win. I wanted to win MasterChef. Yeah. So the theory in my head was like, I might as well do this now, and if I pull it off, I'm going to be definitely within the top two. If I pulled it off, and if I don't, I'm going to go home anyway at some point. So I might as well go home.
Yeah. Go hard or go home, right? So.
Exactly.
So do you have any other competitions in mind that you would want to do, or was that just one that you had kind of in your head set yourself?
I mean, one day I'd love to go into Great British Menu, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet, to be honest. But I'd definitely love to do that though. Yeah. That's one competition I'd love to. Any others? No, not really. I'd give them a go if they came about in the right time, because you need to take yourself away from the kitchen. Really, I was trying to do like MasterChef. I was like running the kitchen and doing that at the same time, but like it was really tough on my team, me doing MasterChef. And as nice as it is, it's not nice to sort of to put your guy, to make your guys struggle just so you can do this. Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Okay. And a final question. It's quite a difficult question given the circumstances, but what are your plans for the future? Where do you see yourself in, say, I don't know, 5 years? Do you have goals in mind? Are you happy at the hut and you're developing that and you've got enough challenges there?
100. Well, I mean, be honest. You sort of answered. Well, you sort of give me two answers. 100%. I'm happy at the hut, and I want to continue to sort of build that brand and shape it and just put my touch in it. But obviously, at the end of the day, as most chefs, I have my own goals. They're not right now. It'd be more of a 10-year goal than a 5-year goal, to be honest. Okay. But I want to run my own place, and I want to make all this worthwhile, like all this time out from my family, worthwhile. To be able to have just a restaurant. It doesn't need to be a chain of restaurants. Just a restaurant where I can say something that's mine, and something that I give my heart to and express myself food wise how I believe food should be, without anyone else sort of telling me what they want, or trying to merge my vision with owners' visions, which you find happens a lot. I'm not that established as a chef where I can just walk in and just go, this is what we're doing and that's it. So it's a lot of merging ideas and coming together. I just want a chance where I can just go, look, this is what I think will work, because I've done this for quite a long time now, and that's what I want to do. So yeah, that's the ultimate plan. But for the time being, yeah, to build the Huts brand and to be their guy.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you managed to get in some decent time before Christmas. Hopefully that we will be opening in the next few weeks. That would be great, wouldn't it? So
yeah.
And I hope 2021 is a better year for the industry and for restaurants. So good luck with that. So yeah, but thank you so much for doing this.
No worries. Thank you very much.
We hope you enjoyed this interview, and if you have any comments, feel free to tweet us or comment on the post. We're making all of our interviews available to download.
And if you want to support us to continue creating great content with amazing people from the hospitality industry, please take a look at our contribution scheme on www.thestaffcanteen.com.
This episode of Grilled by the Staff Canteen is sponsored by Westlands, the premier specialist British grower of microleaf, growing cresses, edible flowers, inspired leaves, sea herbs and specialty tomatoes. Visit www.westlandsuk.co.uk to find out more.